Okay, all right, this says exactly the same thing, just in a little bit different format. If the chief complaint is poor distance vision, then you screen for myopia and hyperopia with your plus 125 and minus 125. If minus 125 is chosen, then the patient is myopic. Compare the minus 50 and the minus 125. If he chooses the minus 50, no glasses are needed, right? If he chooses minus 125, compare the 125 and the 175. If he chooses a minus 125, you are done. Chooses minus 175, compare minus 175 and minus 2. If he chooses minus 175, you are done. Chooses minus 2, compare the 2 and 250. Keep increasing power in half diopter steps till the patient chooses the weaker power, and then you are done. Okay? If he chooses plus 125, then you follow exactly the same process with plus. Go up in plus until he chooses the weaker of the two. If the complaint is poor near vision, follow exactly the same process with plus lens, with the exception of cataracts. Just skip the screening step. Go up in plus until the patient chooses the weaker of the two choices, and that's what you prescribe. Okay?
Love flowcharts.
Love flowcharts. Good. Now, let me show you a little bit about how to stain the cornea and how to remove a foreign body, and then we'll start practicing. Okay, I need somebody with a very high pain threshold. Do we have anybody who's really tough? You are? Okay, come up here. Yeah. Just kidding about the pain threshold, by the way. Okay. Oh, by the way, in the examination kit, the bag of stuff, I've got, we'll talk about it later, but I've got an eye patch and some tape. And the purpose of that is if somebody comes in with something that you're not comfortable dealing with, don't deal with it. Just tape the eye up and send them to a medical clinic. Don't do anything you're not very comfortable doing, okay? Okay. Let's talk about inverting the lid.
Move that cable just a little. It's dragging on your shirt. There we go. Just over here on the tape. Spring to it.
All right. To invert the lid, pretend, or not pretend, actually, the upper lid is in two sections. They're called tarsal plates. And they meet about in the middle of the upper lid. And there's a little crease right there where they meet. And so to invert the lid, what you want to do is pull on the eyelashes to get the upper lid fairly taut, push down with the Q-tip right where the two tarsal plates come together, and lift at the same time. And so if you do that, it'll just flip right up, and you'll be able to see a little black dot here. And then take your Q-tip and roll it, and just very slowly and gently touch it to the little black dot, and it should just come right off on your Q-tip. Then flip the lid back down, and you're done. Painless, easy, quick.
What's the black dot?
A foreign body, a piece of sand or something. Yeah. So, okay. So if the complaint is eye pain and you put some stain in the eye and the scratch, if you see a bunch of vertical abrasions, what that means, he's got a foreign body under his lid, and every time he blinks, he's dragging it across the cornea. And so you can be pretty sure that he's got a foreign body under the lid. Okay? Look down toward the floor. All right. Right here is his tarsal crease. Y'all look at each other and look down and see if you can see a faint little line about mid-cornea.
Is it still inverted?
Tell them to get
No, you're
back
good.
in the right eye.
All right, that's right. Yeah, use your dominant hand. I'm left-handed, so always manipulate with your dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you do everything different. Okay? So look down toward the floor. There's a tarsal crease right there. I lift up a little bit so I can grasp his lashes. Pull the lid taut, push and lift at the same time. And the lid just flips right up. And then grasp his lashes here. There'll be a little black dot there. Come in as you roll, touch it, come back, then flip his lid back down.
Way to go, Nick.
All there is to it.
Now y'all have to do each other. I've had the doctor do mine, so we'll practice on each other.
Okay, won't y'all, let's see. Let me, let's do a little bit of role playing here, and then I will split up and let y'all start practicing. So I need somebody to be a patient, an interpreter, and a visual acuity chart. And I'll just go through a couple folks. We'll do a couple mock exams, and I'll let y'all start practicing. Don't everybody jump at once now. And we'll go through it here. All right. Well, actually, I probably don't need an interpreter since y'all speak English. Okay. All right. Okay. So when the patient comes in and sits down, what's he going to have in his hand? And a completed exam form. And it's going to have on the form his name, age, address, and chief complaint. Okay. Do you wear glasses? You have a problem?
No problems.
No problems. Okay. All right. We'll have to pretend with him.
My eyes.
Okay. All right. Now, what happens? Now, what am I doing? Well, hopefully, that's what we're going to end up doing. Exactly.
I just came for the pen.
Okay. Okay. That's all right. You'll go to counseling. It's well worth it. I think spending 8 cents to get somebody into counseling is a pretty good deal. All right, so what am I doing while he's sitting down and they're talking and he's verifying chief complaint that he just made up? What am I doing? 4 1/4 and 3 to get a 125 and a, right. What in the other hand? 0.50. Let's pretend his complaint is poor distance vision. So the interpreter tells him, I want you to look at his eyes. I'm going to give you 2 choices. Tell me which is more clear, choice 1 or choice 2. Okay? Choice 1 or choice 2?
2.
2. Okay. He chose minus. He chose the minus 125. Then I would say, okay, compare choice 1 and choice 2.
1.
1. He chose 125. Does he need 125 or is he malingering? No, the age is for near.
Yeah.
It's distance. So now we don't, so he may be malingering. Let's find out. Compare choice 1 and choice 2.
Oh, 1.
1. He chose 0.50. So therefore, out the door.
You really just wanted a pen.
And so what we would write here is, even though we're not really what I do is to let everybody know that we did not give him glasses. If he had gotten eye drops, we would have put med only here. And so we'd probably put no RX. Otherwise, they're not sure what's going on. So write no RX here. So when he gets to the counselors will know he was examined and the determination was made that he did not need glasses. So write no RX here, give it to him, and send him to counseling. Okay? Now, what if his complaint is poor near vision? What if he sits down and the complaint says poor near vision? What is your age?
43.
43. Okay. Now, let's pretend his complaint is poor near vision. So we would get a Bible or some near acuity chart that he can look at. And what would I do? I checked. He does not have a cataract. So what do? I go straight to positive. Okay. Let's see how young his eyes are. You hold it right about there and look right there. What do I do? Compare choice 1, which is plus 125, choice 2, which is, compare choice 1, choice 2. 1 or 2?
Maybe 2.
2. Oh. 1 or 2.
2. They're really close, though.
Listen, I want to introduce you to an optometrist. Okay. There's 1. There's 2. Hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say. 1.
If they waffle like that, always go weaker. Okay? So he essentially chose 125. He's over 30. So what would I do? Give him 125. So I'd give you this.
I just want a pen, really.
You need glasses
Okay.
now, Dave.
Okay? So that's what you'd do. Okay?
Can we just make him a pair of glasses real quick?
Yeah, we probably. Now, if he had been under 30, what would we have done? Lingering test. Compare choice 1 or choice 2.
1.
This is better.
It is better.
Okay. So no glasses. See, he inherited a fairly strong focusing system from somebody. And so
LASIK.
at 43, well, LASIK had nothing to do with it.
Did you have LASIK?
He had LASIK, but, well, it may. Some folks that have LASIK, it is, for some reason, seems to help them see better up close. Don't know exactly why, but so either good genetics or LASIK is what's making you be able to see well with no glasses up close. All right. So any questions about that? Y'all comfortable with that? Got that down, Pat? You want me to do another one, or y'all want to start practicing? You want me to do another one or not?
We should probably start practicing.
Okay. All right. Y'all break up. Just get in your little teams there and start practicing. If you have any questions, raise your hand and I'll come by. Okay. Look on the very last page. This is how to evaluate used eyeglasses. If you get a quantity of glasses with the prescription written on the bag, you can only use about 30% of them, unfortunately. All the glasses that I provide have been gone through and all the bad ones culled out. So all the ones you get from me will be usable. Okay, to understand that, I need to teach you a little bit about prescriptions. If you see a prescription that just has one number, that means that's called a sphere power. It means it does not have any astigmatism correction. If it has 3 numbers, like +2, -1, axis 90 degrees, that means you have a +2 sphere and 1 diopter of astigmatism correction, axis 90. And if you have 4 numbers, if you have 3 numbers with a slash and then a 4th number, that means it's a sphere, an astigmatism correction, and a bifocal. So that's kind of how you can.
Is that 90 degrees?
Yes, 90 degrees.
What's that axis indicate?
The axis indicates where the power is, and it can be anyone from 1 degree to 180 degrees. Basically, it's made to be the opposite of the distortion on the cornea. So you go through a distorted lens and distorted cornea, and all the light focuses come to a point focus. So first is the sphere power. The second is the astigmatism correction. The third is the astigmatism axis. And the 4th number, preceded by the slash, is the bifocal power. So -1 means it's a -1 diopter lens with no astigmatism correction. -1, axis 90 is 1 diopter, -1 diopter sphere. Astigmatism correction is 1 diopter, and the axis is 90 degrees. And -1, axis 90 +2 is a bifocal. Same prescription with a 2 diopter bifocal power. So a single vision lens might be a +2. What 2 purposes might this +2 serve? It could be for 2 different patients. One patient, it could be for what?
For reading or farsighted?
Yes, it could be for hyperopia for distance, or it could be for presbyopia for near. It's exactly the same lens. A +2 is a +2. Okay. Okay. And then this means the patient needs a +2 with an astigmatism correction. And this means a +2 -1 axis 90 for distance and a +4 -1 axis 90 for near. Okay. Okay, now these criteria are very arbitrary. There's no right and wrong answer. I just came up with these because these made sense to me, because you don't want to reject everything, but you don't want to take something that's really not going to help the patient very much. So I tried to balance those two conflicting ideals, and I came up with this. Number 1 is reject all bifocals and trifocals. Number 2, if the difference in sphere power between the right eye and left eye is more than 75, then reject. So if the right eye is a +2 and the left eye is a +125, that's 0.75 difference. And I would accept those two and call it somewhere in the middle. I call it a +50, +150. If the right eye is a +2 and the left eye is a +1, I think that's too much difference. So I would reject that because there's more than 0.75 difference between the right sphere and the left sphere. Okay? So the example, if the right eye is -1, left eye is -2, then reject because it's 1 diopter difference. If the right eye is -1, left eye is -150, then I would accept because it's 0.50 difference and meets our 0.75 criteria. And then number 3, if the sum of the astigmatism correction of the right and left eye is more than a diopter, then reject. So if the right eye is a -1, -50, axis 90, and the left eye is a -1, -1/4, axis 98, I would accept that because the sum of the 0.50 and the 0.25 is 0.75. So I would accept it. If the right eye is -1, -75, and the left eye is +1, -1/4, I'd reject it because the sum of the astigmatism correction is a diopter or more. So as I said, this is the criteria that I use. I can't really justify it, but that makes sense to me.
Now, the one pair that you reject right there, if you had the jig and you were cutting your own lenses and frames, that'd still be a pair to keep and use with that, right?
No, the jig, you've got uncut lenses. This is used eyeglasses that you're trying to decide whether to accept or not. These are prescription glasses that somebody gave you that has the prescription marked on the bag.
So this is uncut.
These are uncuts. You're going to make these. You're going to build your own there. You're going to examine the patient and determine he needs a +2 and then go over and make him a pair of +2s. Yes, sir.
If you're given a bag of glasses from some other source, how by using the wiggle test or something, can you determine astigmatism?
It's difficult. You really need an instrument called a lensometer to do that. There's a manual lensometer in which you have to look in and turn a bunch of dials and line up a bunch of lines. And I don't do well with that. After I check about a dozen pair, my eyes go blurry. I start having trouble focusing everything in. Much better is an instrument that I'm using. It's called an auto lensometer, where you stick the glasses in there and hit a button and the prescription pops up on the screen. So that's what I use to go through thousands of pairs of glasses. So the shake test is really not accurate enough to see. If you have glasses are spheres or almost spheres, then you can use the shake test to determine what it is. But to take a pair of glasses and try to use the shake test to neutralize it would be a challenge. Wouldn't you agree? That's exactly right. You're very limited on how much you can take. You're limited to 100 pounds per person. And I typically send one suitcase full of glasses to several people on the team and ask them to take it as one of their 2 pieces of luggage to get up to my 2,000 pair. But that's exactly what I do. You're very limited on how much you can take, so you want what you take to be as useful as possible. And that's exactly right. Children can be a major challenge. If one child gets glasses, every child within 2 miles will develop eye problems. I guarantee you. I was in Kenya a couple years ago, and this father came in with about a 10-year-old son, and they sat down, and the little boy started talking to his father back and forth. And after a while, I said, "What are they saying?" And his interpreter said, well, they were talking in Swahili, and the interpreter said, well, the father asked the little boy what was wrong with his eyes. And the little boy said, "Nothing's wrong with my eyes." And the father said, "You better make up something quick if you want free glasses." So that bothered me at the time, but now that I reflect on it a little bit, how many parents in this country would be less than honest if they could get their kids something that cost a month's wages? Probably a lot. So, and in a lot of third world countries, that's what we're talking. The glasses might be, $20, but if you make 90 cents a day, $20 is a lot of money. So anyway, children are a real problem. I really try to require a referral from I used to say parent or teacher, now I say teacher, because now you can't trust children at all, and apparently you can't trust parents very much. But if a teacher comes in and says, this child gets a headache every time they read, or this child has to get up and walk up to the board to copy off the board, I tend to believe that. But even then, no system is perfect. I told this principal in Kenya that I want to teacher referrals for all the kids that I saw. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. She went back and called all the kids together and said, how many of you kids have eye problems? Okay, you 75 kids, go to the eye doctor. That's not exactly what I meant by teacher referral. So I try real hard to get the teacher to tell you what they have historically observed. And then you can probably believe it. Other than that, there's no good solution. Okay?